In today's episode, let's try to make a circle move from left to right on the screen. A circle that will cross the screen. In previous episodes, we have made objects move randomly, but in real life, there's few objects that move that way. Normally, objects like bicycle or a car, they move step by step in one direction. So let's see what do we have to achieve in this exercise. And let's remember how the ellipse function works. Okay, the first value we have in ellipse is the x. That's the distance from the left border to the center of the circle, or the center of the ellipse. Then second value we have is y, which is the distance from the top border to the center of the circle. Then we have two more values that define the size of the shape. If the two values are equal, then we have a circle. Otherwise, we have an ellipse. So this width here is how wide the shape is our third value. And this distance from the top to the bottom of the circle or the shape, that's our height. So if we want to animate something that goes from the left to the right, we want to animate this circle moving across the screen, all these three values, the y, the width, and the height, will stay equal. We don't want to move the circle down, so the y stays all the time the same. No matter where our ball is, this distance will be the same. And the width and the height will also stay the same, because we don't want the circle to change its size over time. So the only thing we'll change for sure is the x. As time passes, the circle will be moving to the right and the x will get bigger and bigger. So if the x is 50 at the beginning, then it will become 51, 52, 53, and the ball slowly will move to the right of the screen. So let's try to do this in our program. I will start creating the two functions that we always have. Void setup. This function gets executed one time when we start the program. And then we have void draw. The void draw function gets called many times in a sequence, so we can create an animation. And let's start changing the size of our screen. We can try out. Now we have this large area. Let's change the background color. And I will use again the color selector and copy with Ctrl+C this value. I paste it inside the background, inside the parentheses. What do we have now? A blue background. In the draw function, I'm gonna create an ellipse. I will just create it in the position 50-50, just to start somewhere. And I will make it also 50 pixels wide and 50 pixels tall. There we have our circle. I'm gonna show you a new command. It's called no stroke. Now it shouldn't have this black border. You can see that if I switch it off, adding 2 forward slashes, then it's back here. You can check on the reference about the no stroke command. It's here next to the other color functions, no stroke. It says here that it disables drawing the stroke outline. It's very simple. It has no parameters, as you can see, nothing inside the parentheses. And finally, I'm gonna change the color of our circle with the fill command, a fill function, and I will choose a color with the color selector. I like this one. I Control C, and here I hit Control V to paste the color. So there's our circle. It's not moving. So now we have to make it move a little bit. Just as a reminder, if I type here random 400, this will give me an X position. So the X here we will get an X position randomly between 0 and 400. Okay, now we see that because it's not erasing the screen, it's adding circles on top of each other. So we should move this background function, take it out of here, and put it inside the draw. So we start each time with an empty screen, and then we draw the circle. So there we have our circle jumping, but that's not what we want. We want it to move it slowly from left to right. So of course we don't want to have here this random. But also if I type a number, it will not move. So I should type here a variable. So we're going to use a variable again. And let's call it circle X. We used a variable in one of the past episodes to be able to, I will show it here. We generated a random number and we stored this in a variable. And then we read this variable 2 times to be able to draw horizontal or vertical lines. But that's not what we're gonna do now. Now we're not gonna store a random value, but we want to increment the position over time. So let's go step by step. I entered here a variable name, which it doesn't exist yet. If I try to run this program, it says cannot find anything named circle X. Okay, so that means I have to declare the variable before I can use it. I declare the variable, type in float, and then the variable name, semicolon. So I can try to run this again. And now it says the local variable circle X may not have been initialized. That means that circle X is declared, but it doesn't have a value. I never told how much is circle X. So I should type a value. If I type here circle X is 0, for example. Now it's working, but it's not moving. What I do is I say circle X is 0. So anytime later I use the variable circle X, it will have the value 0. So now how can I change this value over time? To increment the value of a variable, I'm going to show you how it's done here. Circle X equals circle X plus 1. What this does is I add 1 to the value contained in circle X. Circle X is 0, plus 1 is 1. So I store now 1 in circle X. This should make the circle move, but there is a little problem. Is that I'm declaring the variable here and I'm telling it it's 0. That means that every time I use circle X here, it will be 0. So it will not move. The solution to this is I have to take this out from here. And I could try adding it to the setup function. So this is called only one time at the beginning. The setup function is called only when we start the program. And then we tell the circle to be 0, circle X. And later we try to draw an increment. Let's try if it works. But again, it doesn't work. Why it says cannot find anything named circle X? The reason for this is that variables only exist inside their function. So this function exists inside setup, but does not exist inside draw. So, and I'm showing this a little bit the long way. I want to show you why. So the solution to this is to declare the variable outside any function. You can do this at the beginning of the program. So this way, we tell the program, this is a new variable of type float. That means it can have decimals. And our variable is 0. So after executing this line, we can use this variable CircleX anywhere in our program. The program will start calling setup. We change the size of the screen. We say we don't want borders in our circles. We say we want to draw circles and other shapes using this color. And then we start executing the function draw continuously, time after time after time. Every time we erase the screen with this color, we draw a circle. And how much is circle X right now? Circle X is 0. So we draw the ellipse on the left border on the screen. And at 50 pixels from the top, and this is the size of the ellipse. It's 50 and 50, so it's a small circle. And then we say circle X should have a new value. The new value is circle X, which was 0, plus 1. So circle X is now 1. The next time draw is called, we do again, we erase the screen, we draw the ellipse, but this time we draw it using the X value of 1. So before it was 0, now it's 1. Then we increment again the variable. Here is circle X is now 1 plus 1 is 2. So circle X is now 2. So you can see that circle X will increase over time. Let's see how this works. So there is our circle. You can see circle X is growing, and that's why the circle is going from left to right. And now it's lost somewhere. In the next episode, we will see how to control this situation that the circle is getting out of the screen. What can we do about it?